heart is a haunted house. Once you get, you ain't getting out. Welcome back, my rays of light. That was my Reiki for this live, or rather this video today that I'm going to be doing for you. I hope that you are enjoying it as you watch, and viewer discretion is advised for anyone that may be sensitive to any anything paranormal, or you're an empath, etc. Viewer discretion is advised. So I'm going to be talking about Skinwalker Ranch. This has been part of the Ghost-tober. Well, first of all, happy October to all of you out there listening. I wanted to do a different type of setup, working with spirit and see what happens with the tea light candle. This lovely skull was given to me by my friend Pamela Williams. I love her to death. And then I bought this amethyst chunk that you see here on the right side. On the left side is a selenite, and then I have a black, or a golden black, like a blackish golden obsidian egg that I recently acquired. So I'm going to be lighting the tea light as I begin. But it is an entirely new month. I'm very, very excited. There's a lot of good energy this month. The veil is very thin, and so we will be connecting a lot to spirit on a greater level, all of us, this entire month, because the veils between the worlds of the living and the dead are, at its thinnest. Also, we have a lot of, people that are intuitive that may be receiving some downloads of information, especially with this month. I'm looking at the calendar here. On the 28th, which is the week of Halloween, it's actually a new moon. And then the full moon, if I'm not mistaken, starts on October 13th, which again is a just very powerful time, to be celebrating the energy of the month. There's a lot of people that are going to be, doing their own rituals, their own magic, etc., to usher in, whatever they want for the remainder of the year. I'm also going to be talking about some personal experiences with y'all regarding skinwalkers. I call them shapeshifters, so I'll be giving that, as well as sharing some ghost stories and personal experiences that I had, as well as covering Skinwalker Ranch. And I'm just looking at at some of the photos here. You can't see me, I'm using a different device here in the background. So before I get started, let me go ahead and light the tea light. Let me adjust this camera just a little bit. I hope that y'all can see the tea light. Okay, so pay attention to the flame as I'm doing this reading. Now, for those of you that are not aware of where Skinwalker Ranch is, it's also known as Sherman Ranch. It's a property located approximately on 512 acres southeast of Ballard, Utah. It says it's a property located on approximately 512 acres southeast of Ballard, I hope I said that right, Utah, and it's reputed to be the site of paranormal and UFO activities. Its name is taken from the Skinwalker of Navajo legend concerning malevolent witches. Now, I'm just reading a little bit about the, what is on Wikipedia for you, so that those of you that have an idea what is on, what are the legends, because this is the first time that I've heard of this location. And my insight will not be based on Wikipedia facts, but actually what I'm channeling. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. But the background of this is supposedly there's claims about the ranch. First appeared in 1996 in Salt Lake, Utah, Desert News, and later in alternative weekly Las Vegas Mercury as a series of articles by investigative journalist George Knapp. Now, these stories detailed the claims of family and allegedly experienced inexplicable and frightening events, and they purchased and occupied the property. Now, according to the, I'm not going to read all of this, but according to the 50-year history of odd events were said to have taken place there. People have said that there have been UFO sightings, or it's been dubbed as the UFO Ranch, and there's been a lot of investigations by paranormal teams, etc. Large animals with piercing red eyes, etc. Cattle mutilations have been part of folklore surrounding the area for decades. Kind of, that reminds me kind of like the Texas legend, the Chupacabra, which I need to do a video on that as well. In 1996, skeptic James Randi awarded Bigelow a Pegasus Award for funding the purchase of the ranch and support Harvard's University professor John Mack and Arthur Bud Hopkins' investigations for what Randi called a useless study of supernatural, paranormal, and occult. In 2016, Bigelow sold Skinwalker Ranch for $4.5 million to Adamantium Holdings, a shell corporation of unknown origin. After this purchase, all roads leading to the ranch have been blocked. The perimeter is secured and guarded by cameras and barbed wire, and surrounded by signs that aim to prevent people from approaching the ranch. Wow, this sounds a lot like Area 51, or all these different things that people have been talking about. So let me pull up a photograph of it. Skinwalker Ranch, so I can get psychic impressions off of it. Okay, here is trying to find a good photo here. So I can show you on the screen. Okay. So those of you that are looking at the screen here, this is Skinwalker Ranch. Okay. Immediately what I get from a psychic perspective is that I see a lot of deaths on the land, a lot of death. Specifically, if I'm looking at the photograph that I just showed you, wherever that's located, in the property itself, if I'm standing on that road, like I said, on the right hand side, I feel like there's definitely a lot of vortexes that are open. This is something that I spoke about in previous videos, where there has been a lot of people that claim, that there are places in this world on Earth here that are like vortexes to other dimensions or portals to hell, etc. Skinwalker Ranch, I feel like it definitely has portals there that are open to other dimensions, so there would be other beings there. I get a lot of headaches when I'm tuning into this. The ground itself, I feel like, is cursed by Native Americans. I don't feel like they wanted anyone to really inhabit this area. As far as the group of people that acquired the property and that now own this, I feel like they know more or less that this is sacred land, and it's not to be messed with. Like anyone that would be trying to build anything on there, or I feel like there's been people that in the past, like I don't know when, or who owned it before, but like I said, I feel like there would have been like some projects that they would have tried to start. Like, I don't know what's weird. I'm not familiar with Utah at all, but what I'm getting from Spirit is like this land was wanting to be made or converted into like a park, or a, not necessarily like a museum, but like a place that people can go and camp and do things like that. So the feeling is like, that they don't want anyone really going through there. People have disappeared on this property. I feel like that's not legend, it's actually true. I do feel like at nighttime, when nobody, when the lights of, again, the sky is dark, and it's pitch black, I feel like there are things that definitely pop out, and that they do produce different color of lights, specifically like a orange golden color, yellow. This is what I'm seeing visions of. And I also get that there would be sounds, like you can hear like moaning, or like when someone is in agony, you can hear these spirits that are on the land. Um, and the land is very active, so there's a lot of human spirits and inhuman spirits, and things that we would call skinwalkers, that do protect the grounds, that are, I don't feel like they're necessarily malevolent, but there are some that could be. But I do feel like they are protecting the land, and that's their home and their space. As far as UFOs, I actually feel like, yes, this would be a territory where UFOs, but I don't feel like it's on the right hand side of this. Like, if I'm looking here, let me show you. That right here, it wouldn't be on this side. It wouldn't be on that side. It would be on this side, where UFOs would have been sighted, or spotted. And I feel like they have landed on the property. I feel like there's a lot of paranormal teams that somehow get in or have broken in. I don't know how. There must be some, I'm hearing that there's some entrance or location that perhaps other people are not aware of, that they have gone through. So I don't know. It seems like people have gone on the property, to do investigations, even though they're not supposed to. And I know they have cameras, but there's some parameter, since the property is so big, there would be something on there that is not, that they can get through to do investigations. Of course, that would be illegal if you're stepping on private property. But I also feel like there's a lot of bones, Native Americans, that have been buried there. Over time, there's a lot of dead animals, a lot of spirits of animals that go down at least 13 meters. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit, 13 meters. I don't know how many meters that is, but it goes really down. And there is some kind of water source, that would be running somewhere along the property underneath the ground, because I feel like there is, and I hear water. I don't know this area at all, or if there's a lake close by, but that's what I'm hearing from Spirit, that there would be like some water underneath the ground, which is like a conduit, a spiritual conduit, which makes sense. But anyone that's human that would be going to this would be on this property. Let's say someday they would open it up and allow people to do tours, etc. They would possibly leave with spirits attached to them, or things following them back home, and also would have, like, very much like I said, cursed, kind of like, they would have a bad run of luck. I feel like this is one of the reasons that the previous owners got rid of this, because they were starting to get affected in their personal life. Now, they may not have discussed this in depth, and they may not ever discuss it, but I do pick up on that they would have had their own share of paranormal experiences. And I just smell like there would be like demonic stuff on this land, etc. And the worst thing that anyone could do would be to take any rocks, any dirt, any twig, any tree, anything that would be on this property, and take it back home with them, or keep it. I also feel like there is, like, I don't know what's being shown. It's like a werewolf creature that I keep seeing visions of that would be there. Several of them. But every four corners of this land is actually haunted. It is guarded by guardians. I feel like there is also like animals. I don't know if they have animals that go through there, like birds. I feel like everything is desolate. Like not even animals would want to be there or could sustain that location for too long, before getting sick. So it doesn't surprise me that they found animals dead and then later mutilated, because again, like I said, you're not just dealing with skinwalkers, you're not dealing just with we're not just dealing with that. There's so many other things that we would, people would be dealing with. I don't know why I keep seeing like a home on the land. I don't know if this property has a home or a location, but I keep seeing a home, and I keep seeing like people, trucks going through there. So I feel like there are people that still go through there, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend. If somebody is living on this property, I don't know. But from what I see from Spirit is that they are showing me that there would be trucks that pass through there for whatever reason. Um, yeah, it's just not a good place to be. And it changes people. People that once they visit this place, it changes them mentally. Like a lot of them could suffer for depression and years, of just trauma. And that's what I hear from Spirit. So let me tell you my story, my little Ghost-tober story. I used to work early morning at a call center, and I would have to be there by 6 o'clock. So a lot of times I would leave early and go to McDonald's. I know that's not a healthy breakfast, and I would get like the McGriddle, and then I would head to work. Well, one morning when I was leaving my home on the street itself, our neighbors had like a black dog, and it would roam, through the neighborhood. And as I had gone early morning in the vehicle to the mailbox, it's a community box. I went to check the mail, and then as I was coming back in the vehicle, midway I saw the dog there on the street, and it wouldn't budge. And then I kept looking at it again, like closer, and upon getting closer, it stood up. Like I saw like a man actually sitting there in the form of that dog. Like that's what I would consider like a skinwalker. People consider them witches, etc., but I feel like they're much like shapeshifters, and that's what I saw. I saw that transforming into like a human. It looked like a human, the silhouette, the back of it. Then the dog, got up, and it was a dog again. But that's how my visions work. Like I saw what would be considered a skinwalker, transforming from an animal form to like a human form, sitting down, but then back to an animal form. So it's very interesting. Like I don't feel like these are myths by the Navajos. They actually do exist. Like I've said before in different readings, these creatures do exist. They're very real. And it's very interesting to see, what people consider, like a normal type of, folklore. They think that it's just like, that's it, it's like a legend, or it's false, and it's not. But a lot of times some of the legends have been, told in a different way to strike fear, to, keep, it's very much like a fear vibration. But in this case, it's not. Like I feel like in this case, this place is actually very spiritually active. There is a lot of negative stuff. There is some good souls on the property that are trying to protect others. The Spirit is saying something about like if you go through aerial around there, like on an airplane over it, over this property, that you could find that something on either your watch or your cell phone or something would malfunction. Like there is like a radioactive type of frequency that is stronger in this area, or electromagnetic frequency and EMF. It would be through the roof over this property. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely very, very scary. I would not want to be there at nighttime at all. Not because I would be scared, but because of the things that I know that would come out, and just the energy itself is horrible. Like it's really horrible. It's a lot of times Native Americans put curses on their lands after they would die to protect that land, to make sure that no one would inhabit it, that the white man, would not inhabit it. And what I mean by white man, I'm not trying to sound like it's racist or anything, but they would consider, anyone that's not a pure Native American blood, like a settler, or to the Native Americans, that's their land, so they would consider that like a migrant, someone that's coming from another country trying to take over their land and property. So that's what I see. That's my reading for the Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know what some of you that requested this were expecting to hear or wanting to hear, but this is exactly what I'm hearing from Spirit. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I will be going live tomorrow, same time, same place, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I look forward to seeing you all, my rays of light, and I will be having some more Ghostober paranormal videos for you. Uh, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you all that took advantage of my sale throughout the whole month of September and got your reading. You know, I'm still working on those as well. So look forward to, my next sale, which would probably be around the end of November. Maybe around Christmas time, I will be having a reading, a sale, but it won't be all month. It'll probably be that, like that Friday, Black Friday, like that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like 4 days sale. So for those of you that will be saving up, that's something to kind of look forward to. But as always, thank you for being here. If you like this video, smash the like button, share it, tell your family members about it so they can come and see it. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing, amazing day or night wherever you are in the world. My rays of light. Love you.